So when x is true, the statement with which you are starting, if that is true, then the implication is defined to be true if y is true, and it is defined to be false if y is false. This is simple. If the first statement is true, then the second statement also has to be true. Then only the implication is true. Otherwise, it is false. However, that's not all. Now, here comes the confusing part. If x is false, we define this to be true regardless of the truth or falsity of y. So the second part of the definition says that if the first statement is false, then by this, we consider this to be true, independent of y. Whether y is true or false, it does not matter. We consider this implication to be true. But why this strange thing, and why do we need this? That will become clear slowly, gradually as we progress. Okay. Now some terms. When x is false, this is said to be vacuously true. It's a term. When x is false, we have agreed to consider this as a true statement. In that case, it's said to be a vacuously true statement. Vacuous because x is false. The premise of the statement is false. So the truth actually does not tell you anything. It does not say anything about y. Y can either be true or false. It does not matter. The implication is true, although it's vacuously true and somewhat useless. Although, sometimes it's useful. We are going to come to those things. So it is said to be vacuously true. One more thing is that shall I clean this part of the board? In the context of implication, x is said to be the hypothesis. Recall what we discussed previously, and y is said to be the conclusion. So an implication has a hypothesis and a conclusion because there is a direction. In case of if and only if, there was no direction, and both the directions were there. So that is a different case. But in case of implication, there is a clear direction. We are going from hypothesis to conclusion. So what the implication says, let me just repeat once more. When the hypothesis is true, the conclusion, the implication is defined to be true if and only if the conclusion is true. If the hypothesis is true and conclusion is false, then the implication is false. However, when the hypothesis itself is false, then the implication is considered to always be true, regardless of the state of truth or falsity of the conclusion. And this is called vacuous truth, or we say that X implies Y is vacuously true. Okay, so this is the definition. Now we come to the discussion. Why do we need this strange thing, and why is it true? Why is an implication true when the hypothesis is true? And why does it not depend on the conclusion? That part is the most important part, and that needs to be understood pretty clearly. Now, so we go through some examples first. So just like if and only if we consider these things, this is one implication, one statement involving implication.